Well, hello, and welcome back to the Less Than Satisfactory podcast.
Totally remembered what it was.
Hey, I did this time. And guess what? It's 2020 now. We're actually making content again.
What? It's been years.
Actually, it feels like it.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't remember, my name's Austin.
This is Ethan.
And we did most of it last year. We're going to do it again.
We're still less than satisfactory.
Wait, is this year 3?
This is year 3, technically.
Good God, I'm getting old.
Yeah, it's just, time keeps marching on.
Yeah, one slow step at a time.
Alright, and on that happy note.
Let's talk about what we're going to do for 2020.
Yeah, we made a few resolutions for ourselves. We're going to try and make some more content.
Yeah, that's the number one thing, because God knows we need it.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry to anyone that actually thought we were going to make content over the winter. We had intentions to.
And then we didn't.
Yep. Unfortunately, time makes a fool of us all.
Welcome to Less Than Satisfactory.
That is why we are Less Than Satisfactory.
But, in more good news, you might have noticed it already, we got a new mic.
Yes, the audio quality is much, much better now.
Yeah, we're testing out a tagline for 2020 is same crappy content, 100%. Wait, I messed it up already.
You did.
It's crappy content. It's meta.
It's the same crappy content, but now, what was it?
Oh, yeah, no, wait. Same crappy content, now with improved audio.
Yes.
Less than satisfactory. We'll get it out eventually.
One day. Then, I mean, I just don't even know.
We'll figure it out. But, so, enough about us. You don't really care about us because you're here for, I assume, the hot takes.
Well, there's always hot takes.
I mean, yeah. And the hottest takes of all can be taken about
by one of our recent viewings in
Star
the theater.
Wars. Wait, is that Indiana Jones?
No, those Star Wars.
Okay, well,
It
anyway,
was like the closing credits.
We're going to talk about Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker. I totally remembered what the tagline
I remember it was Rise of. I forgot it was Skywalker till you just said it.
And honestly, Skywalker's barely factored into it, so whatever. But anyway, that was a movie that came out in this last year, December, towards the end.
So technically it came out last year. However, as we just mentioned, we were very busy over the winter, so we did not get to see it till this past week. Well, you saw it before, but I didn't.
Yes, I've seen it twice now. I wanted to give it a fair shot.
And give it a second go.
Trying not to reveal too much about what I thought about it yet.
Yeah, we will have some spoiler alerts. Let's go ahead and warn you now. It's going to be there. If you don't want it, well, then tune out now. If you do want it, we've got some thoughts, and some good, some not, a lot not. But that's just us.
Yeah. So, to kind of make sure everybody's on the same page in terms of Star Wars universe, with the last movie, we left off with Luke Skywalker dying.
He essentially became part of the Force.
Yeah.
Rey and Leia.
More on him dying later.
Yeah, Rey, Leia, Chewbacca, Poe, Finn, and the other girl.
Rose.
Thank you.
Totally important character. She had so many speaking lines in the new movie.
Oh, yes.
So many.
But they're all, like, doing their thing.
Yeah, they've never really explained what they did between the last movie and now, other than just, like, resisting, I guess.
I will admit, it almost feels like there's about, like, a 20-minute segment that just never got made between Last Jedi and the new one.
Yeah.
That just kind of, like, was like, hey,
we're here.
They're going to this place now.
And in media res. We're here. We're in the thick of it. And then Kylo Ren, he was in charge of the First Order. Is that what it's called now?
It's
I don't know.
Basically space Nazis.
Yeah, he's in charge of all the space Nazis now.
Yeah.
Except for the, like, super space Nazi, which we didn't learn about in the last film.
Because he was not referenced at all.
Emperor Palpatine is back.
Yeah, Yes, clearly you could tell that's not a spoiler because they spoiled it for you already in the trailer.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter because, yeah, apparently that wasn't interesting enough to, like, film, I guess.
I feel like that could have been a really good plot twist, but they just didn't do anything with it. They're just like, here you go.
The big bad Snoke just sort of died in 30 seconds. It was similar to the Mandarin from the Iron Man 3.
Yeah, it really was.
I guess he was just a puppet all along. Yeah, so anyway, here we are, Rise of Skywalker. Kylo Ren's going to see Emperor Palpatine.
Well, he's searching for him. Because, like, the first couple of minutes of the new film is just him kind of looking for what... He was looking for the Sith holocron, wasn't he? Yeah. Or was it holocron or was it or something else?
I think they called it a wayfinder.
It's a holocron.
Yeah, that's not a term that had ever existed before.
No, it's a Disney-made term.
And then the good people are doing, I don't know, good people things. Again, they never explained what the good people were doing.
They're just doing, like, rebel stuff, hanging out on some forest, moon-ish planet.
So, that gets you caught up to the start of Rise of Skywalker. But now, time for our criticisms, and probably you'll find something to like about it after these few messages.
Yeah.
Oh, I need a... Do you like sports? Football? Basketball?
Wrestling?
Balls?
NASCAR?
Well, then come to Strictly Sports, where we talk about sports. And sports. Sometimes we make one of them pop culture references. It's like in the Fed or whatever. I don't know. It's something like that. And the kittens can tell you. Anyway, it's Strictly Sports. It's about 85% sports and 15% nonsense. Check it out.
And we're back. Hopefully that sponsorship ad was not too rough. And everyone enjoyed it. And, you know, all the fun stuff.
Hey, you know how I feel about the South.
Yes, you made that well apparent.
Anyway, Star Wars. Yeah, so the movie had really nice the picture looked real nice.
It was all nice and purty. But I will admit that is one of the things I will give it lots of credit for.
Yeah, definitely A+ on that category. Well,
at least an A.
An A.
They had great CGI in most cases.
Yep, in most cases.
The art, it was great.
The art and the choreography of the fights were really good. Yeah, and sometimes a little bit outlandish, but
the set designs were really well. They did great with like all the environments and just getting all the stuff, making all the characters look proper.
Costume design was really awesome.
There is one thing I have a question on, and I have not brought this up to you yet.
Okay, I'm all ears.
Is Rey Superman? Because she has not changed her clothes once.
I mean...
I'm not saying she wants to change them on screen for me. But... No, I... Honestly, she can do that behind the scenes. I just want to see her in another outfit.
Yeah, no, I assume that Star Wars world, galaxy, universe has the technology to clean clothes. So maybe while they're still on, like, maybe when you, like, get on a ship, there's, like, you pass through a disinfectant...
delousing spray.
Yeah, delousing spray.
I mean, that would be some crazy-ass technology.
Just a quick radiation treatment.
Oh, lovely.
Just irradiate all the bugs and stuff off.
Just like, oh, hi, Finn. Oh,
here's some cancer. It's fine.
No big deal. Cancer's irrelevant whenever there's an emperor on the loose.
Jedi don't have time to change clothes, though. They're too busy.
Luke changed clothes in every episode.
He did. He did. When he got dirty, he changed clothes. But Rey
was... Question then. Was Luke a germophobic?
Probably. I mean, he was always clean-shaven, too.
True.
I mean, think about that.
Until he wanted to die, he did not have facial hair.
You're right. He got dirty. Luke was a germaphobe. That's a good point. Because when he decided, hey, I don't want to live anymore, He just grew out a beard, clearly stopped showering.
Oh, he wore the same outfit constantly.
Drank milk from the teat.
The weird blue milk shit. Dude, that was so weird. That scene really bothered me, Last Jedi.
I was so unnecessary. But we're not here to talk about...
Last Jedi was last year.
Yes.
We're here for Rise of Skywalker.
So let's start where the problems begin. We touched on it a little bit already. The opening crawl.
Oh, boy.
Palpatine is just alive. Like, we're just supposed to accept that. Nothing, no explanation really. He's alive. That's all we got.
Literally, it was less than 30 seconds into the film, just on the crawl. I turned to my lady partner and said, "What the fuck is this?" I've never had to do that in a Star Wars film ever, and I've seen all of them since Phantom Menace.
Yeah, no, it was not the greatest opening crawl. It was just kind of bland too. Maybe
it's just like, sort of... hey, Palpatine's here. Why is he here? Because he wants to be.
Yeah, no, friendship, love,
the power of friendship, which is pretty much the entirety of the film.
More on the ridiculous use of force powers later, but then let's fast forward to like about a minute.
Dude, the first like 3 minutes of this film were just so fucking confusing.
The introduction of Palpatine on his world, like I think it was Exegol.
Yeah.
It's just sort of like shaky cam, like B-movie horror crap, where he's just flashing lights and Palpatine's face, flashing lights, seizure. Then
and then it looks like zombie Palpatine from what you can see because he has no eyeballs.
Yeah, he's been apparently attached to a crane for I don't know what 34 decades.
Yeah, dude, why would you do that to yourself?
I don't know.
Like, there's no purpose to it unless.
And not to mention, okay, the Emperor is probably one of the richest people in the galaxy, right?
Surely.
Why does he live in such a shithole? Like,
the
world where he was inhabiting.
I also have this question.
Like, he lived in a cave.
Oh yeah, he was essentially just a hermit.
Yeah.
I have this question as well. Where did he get all the clone troopers from?
They don't even are those clone troopers,
or is it just First Order people? I thought they started knocking out the First Order and then they multiplied by 10 million.
Yeah, no. Also, within like the first 3 or 4 minutes of the film, he just summons Star Destroyers with what we learn later are planet-killing weapons. Each, like, there's probably 40, 50 Star Destroyers that he just lifts out of the ground at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, first off, he was thrown down a shaft.
And
how does he have the ability to lift his arms at this point?
And also, a space station exploded around him.
Yeah, like, he should be well beyond dead.
But apparently he's not. Okay, I will give Disney a little bit of credit on this particular plot point. It's not the worst because in the expanded universe material,
oh yeah, he did put his essence and other things.
Did his like force essence soul survived and inhabited various different bodies?
Well,
one time a 14-year-old kid, one time a clone.
Didn't he do it to like a robot too?
I think he inhabited a robot briefly too.
Yeah, that will play a point at the very end of our review here.
Okay.
Because you remember the end. We'll get there.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and move on to the next part then. So, after they show all the Palpatine stuff, then we'll go to Rey, who's training in the forest.
Sure, yeah, that's what's happening.
Yeah.
I don't know. She goes on some sort of weird, crazy course or training course.
Yeah, I don't know. There's floating rocks and random shit. Apparently she's training with that thing that trained Luke that just like shot at him, but he had to put the mask on that allowed him not to see.
Yeah, I don't think that Luke or Leia learned anything about training Jedi. They're just literally doing the one lesson that Obi-Wan Kenobi taught them.
Yeah.
in A New Hope.
Over
and over.
That really makes me wonder, how did Luke become so good at being a Jedi when no one taught him shit?
I don't know.
Like, it had to literally just be the books and trial and error.
He didn't even have those books that were in The Last Jedi. Not in the original trilogy.
Well, he didn't get them until he ended up going to that island where he's like, yeah, I want to die here. Like, that's literally the only time they ended up finding them.
Yeah,
according to current canon.
Yeah, I don't know. It was strange. Luke's skill is both in question because we've never actually seen it, and nebulous because how the heck did he get? Yeah. Anyway, enough about Luke. We're dwelling on old topics because Luke is dead.
That's true. Well, sort of.
So, the next kind of main problem, like big problem in this film.
I just don't like Rey.
Well, I mean, Kylo and Rey together though. Whatever the heck and the force powers that they were doing were so stupid.
I don't like their whole bond thing. That's just weird.
How in the heck can they transport objects across the galaxy using the Force? That's never been done before in the Force.
It's not even been in the EU, if I recall.
No.
Or Legends, or whatever you want to call it.
There's some Force powers that happened in this film that like nothing like that has ever happened in the Star Wars universe. Like even before Disney got a hold of it, they were just utterly ridiculous. Like Rey accidentally uses Force lightning that explodes a ship.
That fucking made me lose it. I was like, what?
It just exploded a ship. Like, Palpatine got hit by his own Force lightning full force, and it didn't, like, explode him.
No, he just, like, literally, you can watch it in, was it Revenge of the Sith?
Yeah.
Because Samuel Jackson reverses it on him. All it does is fry his face a little bit. It doesn't make him implode.
Yeah, jeez. And then later on, Palpatine uses some broken lightning powers in hitting ships with it, but they don't explode.
Yeah, so it's already contradicting what they're expecting us to know.
Why didn't the ships explode? I need to know.
Yeah, like, does he have the ability to turn EMP on?
Or like, are we like, did he set his lightning fingers to stun? Oh gosh. Speaking of fingers, though, the scene. So
that was so gross.
Skipping ahead a bit, there's a scene where Kylo and Rey confront the Emperor, and we learn that Rey had been the Emperor's daughter. Whatever, that makes so much sense too.
It's something.
And he steals their life powers, I guess, or life force.
He literally just like drags their souls. It almost looks like he's a Dementor.
Yeah.
And he's just like sucking it out of them, and he's like becoming his old self again, getting his Sith eyes and shit.
And then his fingers regrow.
Yeah, and they really zoomed in on it, and it was ugh.
Hey, you know what? It was gross, but it was pretty excellent CGI work. So kudos.
A+ for that.
Good job. You grossed me out.
Yeah. It almost felt like they were trying to be a horror film at the same time.
Yeah, I know. There was so many elements of just like B-movie horror.
Were they just testing out like stuff for the new Doctor Strange film? Is that what they were doing?
So yeah, no. So what's some more criticism you had? Because I've been talking enough about I could rant for the next hour and still not be done.
The Rey Force lightning was the first thing in the film. Well, not the first thing, but the first major thing that made me go, why the fuck am I in this theater? Why? There's no purpose to it.
And then the same plot point that happened right next to it where Chewbacca apparently dies. But no one bothers to reach out in this all-powerful force and see if he's still alive.
Yeah, like Rey, for some reason, thinks she just killed him.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there was 2 transports. She could have easily known that he was still alive.
And then later on, in this, like, 5 minutes later, they're like, oh, yeah, Chewie's up there. I can feel it.
What?
We didn't feel it before?
Yeah, also, another point, just because I remembered she's still on the home planet here. Rose?
Oh, yeah.
They didn't give her anything.
Yeah.
I was hoping for a little bit of, like, redemption because, as I've mentioned before and I'll mention again, I fucking hated the storyline between her and Finn in The Last Jedi.
It was not played out well. And that's actually part of the reason why she didn't get so many lines is because there was so much of a backlash.
But you could realistically just, like, redeem her with a good storyline here.
Yeah, but that's hard. The easy way is just to make her fade into the background.
Oh,
so that's
Jar Jar Binks her.
Yeah, so let's just ignore that and move on because oh hey look, this dude from Lost is here.
Oh yeah, he was from Lost. I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, he's here to spout some crap about Sith history. Okay, now that's one thing I really hate. So, in the original trilogy, it kind of made sense that there were some people out there that didn't believe in like the Force or Star Wars or Jedi or sorry, the Force or like Jedi or something because the Jedi have been wiped out for a couple decades.
Yeah, like it's realistic to believe that some people are like, oh, well, that never happened.
But somehow, like 4 decades later, when there's been many moments in galactic history of the Force being used and Jedi and Sith fighting.
Like, everyone knows the story of Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader and the Emperor.
But there's still somehow people that don't believe that the Force exists in the
But yet they still know that tale, which makes no sense.
No. It's just so weird. And there's also just random characters that know everything about Sith history, but then there's random characters that apparently don't know that the Force exists.
Yeah, like Maz Kanata is an example. She's like, oh yeah, everything exists. I've seen it. I have a lightsaber, and she handed it to,
like,
Rey in the first one.
No crap, there's like evidence.
Yeah, like she literally had evidence of it, and other people were like,
that doesn't exist.
Nah. I like it. Ugh.
You're gonna hear that a lot.
Yeah. I will also say this, and I mentioned it to my lady partner as well. Does it feel like it's almost like the writers of this film spark noted the first two, and then took like 3 or 4 main points from the prequel movies, and took the Skywalker clan and Chewbacca from the old ones, and that's literally what they pieced together to make this film.
Yeah, kinda. Well, and then so you got to imagine that this is basically a high school group project, and then there was that one kid who made The Last Jedi who's like, oh, you know what? I won't plagiarize this whole project like everyone else. I'll be a little creative. So
However, his creativity was not good.
I'm gonna move this and this then and switch places. so it's totally different now, guys.
Yeah, I do agree with that.
Yeah, no, I think that's the problem with this whole trilogy. Now that we're kind of looking back on it,
it's just there was too much indecision.
Yeah, well, and also one of the nice things about Star Wars films, at least for the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy, was they tended to be innovative. Like,
they were also each original.
Yeah, and
none of them like copied the other.
Yeah, and so there was nothing new in this Star Wars film other than the effects were new, but that's not quite enough because I can go to a Transformers movie and see
get me started on
awesome effects.
Transformers.
But you can get awesome effects anywhere. They're a dime a dozen if the the film company's willing to shell out the bucks. But they didn't take any chances with the storylines at all.
No, like
they didn't.
There was one they kind of started to, because I felt like they were starting to do something with Poe. Like his little storyline with, hey, you have a backstory here.
Yeah.
But they just didn't quite go through with it all the way. They kind of half-assed it, or just like ran out of time.
Yeah,
like one of those deals.
It would have been interesting to see that, and hey, maybe they're setting it up for
like a Poe spinoff movie.
Yeah, or miniseries.
I mean, because I'd be okay with that.
Like The Mandalorian, which came out kind of around the same time, was really good for the most part.
Yeah, because we've watched The Mandalorian. It's great. It's a good movie. Not movie. Show. Sorry. Felt like a movie with how long it is. But.
And I wouldn't be surprised if that's kind of the direction that Disney might go with Star Wars, is doing more personal stories and staying away from
movies.
Well, staying away from the big overarching storylines like the trilogies are.
I honestly think that's a better route. I mean, you can explore a lot in a TV show.
Yeah, but can it make enough money? That's the problem.
The Mandalorian's proving it that they're doing just fine with it.
Oh yeah, I think I read somewhere that like they lost out on $2 million worth of sales. Maybe even I think it might have even been $2 billion worth of sales by not having Baby Yoda toys ready for the holiday season.
God, there was so many people that wanted them.
Yeah, well, but they're all gonna buy them when they come out in like March, so
yeah,
I don't think it's much of a difference.
No, not at all. But another thing is their Kenobi show is going to come out here shortly too.
Oh, was it going to be a show? I thought it was going to be a movie.
Show.
Okay.
Yeah. They considered doing a movie, and then they ended up just saying, "Oh, we'll do a show," because they can do a lot more with a show. Mm-hmm. It might become more promising that way. They've also rumored Hayden Christensen coming back to play Darth Vader. Sorry about that noise that you may have just heard. Ethan's laptop did something weird.
Yeah, don't worry about it. But anyway, speaking of Kenobis, another disappointment from the film was
Rey's not a Kenobi.
Yeah, well, honestly, just the whole way that they handled Rey's parentage, because I don't.
It feels like that no one knows what they actually wrote down at the very beginning of this tale.
Yeah, because
it felt like at the beginning she was either going to be a Skywalker or a Kenobi.
And then she's just all of a sudden a Palpatine, and that doesn't... Like,
but her parents aren't Palpatine's kids, though. That's the thing.
They have to be. I think they are. It's just like, when did Palpatine have time to have kids? Or what was the person or alien that was willing to...
Or was it like one of those deals with how Anakin happened, where he like created life inside of a woman without, actually doing the intimate acts?
But then why?
But at the same time, it's just really weird because it seemed like her parents were like an actual married couple.
Yeah, and they never really were clear. Like, was it through her mother or father? Yeah, they just didn't. They explained everything and nothing at the same time.
They've left us with more questions than answers, and that's okay. Honestly, this film could have been okay if it was the first movie of the franchise, like the trilogy.
This would have been a great starting point for the trilogy. Like, Palpatine's back. That's kind of scary. Here's this weird bad boy Kylo Ren, who might be good. We don't know yet. Then this would have been a great trilogy movie to start.
Or even like the second one, and have Last Jedi be first one.
Oh, that could work. Yeah, that would have been better.
Yeah, but regardless, the way that it's just played out chronologically, it makes no sense.
No, it really doesn't. And they've never done a good job of like establishing how far past the Battle of Endor we are. Like, no one ever. I don't remember that ever being established.
I think they just keep changing it every time that we ask.
Yeah, it's very nebulous. I don't understand it. But I think this movie would have been great if it had been an anime movie. Like, it would have made a great anime movie because nothing made sense. So.
Yeah, well, that's all anime movies. You just don't turn an anime movie into a real life film. Otherwise, you get this, or you get something like Netflix's Death Note.
Oh gosh,
that's a whole.
And I think that might have been the problem is that like all these things would have been acceptable in like animated form. But we're seeing it in live action. We're just like,
we're like,
that's too much.
I think Disney's just trying to do live action shit that shouldn't be live action shit.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at all their films as of late. They did Lady and the Tramp. They're doing Mulan, which doesn't have Mushu. Still pissed about that.
Whatever. I don't like Eddie Murphy. Not upset.
Oh, whatever. They did what was the other one that was Lion King. That was the weird
Jungle
one.
Book.
Yeah, the Lion King looks fucking terrifying.
No, yeah, I haven't seen it, but I heard bad things about it.
Yeah, we are straying from the point though. Back to Rise of Skywalker. Other things that could have been fixed.
I'll give it I'll get a little bit of a praise and a criticism at the same time. It's just a comparison that I need to make.
Okay.
So there was a plot line where they went to Yavin 4 and found a battalion of stormtroopers that had defected and were living there now. And that was really interesting. But then, and so these stormtroopers were riding around on these
weird horse things.
Horse adjacent creatures.
wasn't it hacks? Is that what we'd call them?
Sure, yeah.
Because they're horse yaks.
Horse yaks.
Hacks. Fucking hacks.
So they decide, not really like telling us that they had prior knowledge of this, that, yeah, these are what we need to attack the Star Destroyers with. You know, the ones that are sitting on a planet, not doing anything. We're going to land on a Star Destroyer and run across the deck with these things. Because apparently the Star Destroyers had the ability to jam speeders.
Yeah, but which is really weird because wouldn't they have the same ability to just jam the other ships that land on these Star Destroyers?
Or around them, or I don't know, whatever.
That's just...
But really, so we have this scene of just horses running across the Star Destroyer, and it just felt like we were in a goddamn Firefly movie instead of a Star Wars movie. Yeah. And then all the Empire had to do was just like tilt 45 degrees, and everybody just would have fallen off. Like, that's it. That was a nice try, but everybody fell off because...
oh, darn, the rebellion's done.
Gravity.
Who would have thought gravity would be the one that killed the rebellion?
I just thought of another one that really bugged me.
Go for it.
Right at the beginning of the film, the light speed jumping.
Dude, that was so dumb.
It was so dumb. Okay, one...
I've seen it in Guardians of the Galaxy, too.
Okay, but that's not Star Wars.
No, it's not. And it's literally looked like they cut and pasted that into Star Wars.
I hadn't even thought of that. You're right. That is just a scene from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Too.
Like, just because you own the property as well doesn't mean you can just take it.
I hadn't even realized that. That's hilarious. I just was complaining because... How is that?
Yeah.
That's not...
It's not a Star Wars thing.
I think it's been explained at several points in Star Wars, like, lore, that's not possible.
I think they were just trying to make Poe look really cool.
Yeah, but he doesn't have the Force. How could he do that? Yeah. Like, he was literally light speed jumping. So you're going... I don't remember how fast light speed is, but it's like...
A lot.
2 million miles an hour or something. Sure, that sounds right. He was jumping 2 million miles an hour into like pillars of a building.
Yeah, like we literally just watched a film right before that called The Last Jedi where she hit light speed and went through Snoke's ship. You don't just not hit shit when you go through it.
It was so weird.
Speaking of Force things, there's another thing that bothered me about this film. What was Finn's secret that he couldn't tell Rey? Never did tell Rey.
Did he never actually say it? I guess I just sort of assumed that he said it because it was so obvious.
At the beginning, it seemed like, to me at least, he was either going to say, hey, I'm Force sensitive, or hey, I love you. One of the two.
Yeah.
And at the end of the film, you could tell it was the Force sensitive part because Finn...
Yeah.
Another thing about this movie that also bothered me, small sidestep here. Did you notice that, like, he has the... I don't know how to say this. Like, all the women are just attracted to him.
Yeah, it was...
Like, every woman he looks at, they're just like, ooh, hey, Finn.
It was almost a harem anime for him. Like, it wasn't even necessarily just women, because...
There's Poe, too.
Yeah, they were getting some Poe, Rey...
Maybe
everyone he encountered was just sort of like, ooh, Finn. I mean, Don't get me wrong, John Boyega's
He's an attractive
human.
Man, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll give him credit.
But... Yeah, no, that was pretty ridiculous. We were just like, oh, hey, Finn's picked up another lady friend, maybe, or boyfriend.
What a polygamous relationship we have now. But, yeah, that and the fact that he just never told his secret to Rey.
He didn't even tell it to anyone else either.
No, like, he really heavily hinted at it to Poe.
And the stormtrooper lady, and that's it.
Yeah. Also,
you should know.
Also, my lady partner at the very end of the film was really, really hoping that Poe and Finn were going to make out.
Oh yeah, there's a
hardcore shipment there.
Yeah, a large minority. I don't know. A lot of people on the internet were expecting it.
Everyone
I personally didn't see it, but there was a lot of people that claimed there was a lot of good chemistry between Poe and Finn.
I mean, if you were gonna make a relationship that was in that form, those would be the two to do it with, I would say.
Yeah, you don't think Finn and Chewie could have gone, or Poe and Chewie?
That's too much.
Poe and Chewie.
I know how I look
they
without
had some
a shirt
decent
on.
amount of chemistry right
No.
there. Chewie, there was that naked scene that Chewie was in. We could have seen a Wookiee penis.
Never say those words again.
Do you think a Wookiee penis is barbed?
Anyway, we're moving on from
like
this.
Cat's penises.
You're disgusting. I don't know if I'm gonna edit that in post though, because I'm really lazy. But let's focus on the fact that Finn's still like, he just never had any resolution to his character either.
Yeah, well, I saw a really interesting thread on Reddit saying that what they should have done with Finn's character was have him go on like a crusade or like a quest to get a bunch of stormtroopers to defect.
That would be cool. Like, honestly, it feels like...
Yeah, like him and Poe could have spent the whole movie just like trying to recruit stormtroopers.
Yeah, like, honestly, there should have been a film before this film that was just them doing that.
Yeah.
Just like Poe and Finn, a Star Wars story.
I mean, Rey could have been involved, but that would involve
like
Rey thinking about something besides herself.
Well, I guess she could be there because, you know, the three of them, it's the power of friendship that defeats the Empire. So that is literally the concept of the whole thing. And then I will say, I did not hate what they did with Kylo Ren. I know that a lot of people do.
Okay, so so what was your feelings about Kylo Ren and Rey's relationship?
I did not care for that part.
There was no indication from Rey anywhere in any of the movies
that she had any interest.
So she had any feelings for Kylo Ren, who is really just sort of just a creepy stalker person. Honestly, that's all he was.
Honestly, just like, ooh, I have a bond with you.
He just followed Rey around the galaxy, like, gracefully, or just not killing her. That was the nicest thing that he could do for Rey, was not kill her.
Yes. The part that I liked about Kylo, though, was not that, because that's fucking creepy.
It was weird and stupid.
However, I do like the fact that he realized, oh shit, I'm turning into the villain here. As if I weren't already.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of sad that it took him. Like, I feel like he did realize it in The Last Jedi, but then the writers were like, nah, that was too quick.
Yeah.
We gotta go back. We weren't ready for that.
Yeah, so then they put him back in the back seat, if you will. And then
oh, hey,
pull
yeah.
the trigger here.
Now we can use this plot point.
For an uncredited cameo of Harrison Ford there, too. Gosh. Did you notice that it didn't even say him in the credits?
Oh, really? I didn't notice that at all. That's hilarious.
Yeah. So it's probably just old film or something they threw in there.
And so, back to the whole... Okay, so they have that force bond, and they were able to, like, be in two different places, but communicate in the, like, same space as each other and sort of affect the objects around them. So when they went to Yavin 4 and were like in the old Star Destroyer or old Death Star,
yeah,
I did not know that Kylo Ren was actually there.
I thought he was actually doing the Bond thing too.
Yeah, until we saw his ship when Rey was leaving.
Yeah, I'm like, oh,
he was actually there. Like, it was just so confusingly used that, like, no one... I don't think anyone I spoke to knew that he was actually there until...
No, I did not. Also, at that scene, though, going back to Harrison Ford, why is he a Force ghost?
I think that was supposed to be...
Or was it just, like, supposed to be his conscious or something?
Yeah, Kylo Ren was seeing him... I don't know.
Or maybe like Ben Solo was seeing. Speaking of
Force ghosts, why can they interact with the physical world?
That was so infuriating.
It's just so the scene where Rey is just, which I thought if they went through with it and let her destroy that lightsaber, it would have been awesome. Mm-hmm. Because the whole trilogy, Rey was super uncomfortable with lightsabers. That wasn't what she grew up with.
No, she had her staff thing.
She had her staff, and she had her really awesome force powers. And so I think it would have been really cool for her to go into the final fight, no lightsaber, because she's not a Jedi like the people before her were. She's a new type of Jedi.
Yeah, like one that's more in tune with the Force, as opposed to, you know, in tune with a weapon of some kind.
Yeah, and it just would have been much more poetic and
I
interesting.
I was also really kind of hoping, like, her last battle with the Force lightning shit was going to turn into, like, you remember how, like, Thor got his, what's it called? Stormbreaker.
Oh, yeah.
And she was just going to go full Stormbreaker.
Yeah, just
and, like, shock the shit out of everything.
Yeah, well, kind of what, like, Yoda did to Dooku in Attack of the Clones.
Yeah.
That would have been so much more interesting and, like, would have made more sense for Rey's character arc. But instead, Luke Skywalker, being, like, the lazy bones that he is, or just generally useless person.
He's like, oh yeah, Leia had a lightsaber.
Not you, Mark Hamill. I love you.
No, Mark Hamill is a beautiful human. I will
never hate on
him.
You didn't write this.
No.
He just reaches out while she's trying to throw it in the fire and grabs it as a Force ghost, like he's a goddamn poltergeist. It just makes no sense. And then his hair is blowing around in the wind.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
That was weird.
Are they dead or are they alive? Like,
I also definitely thought there was going to be other Force ghosts that, like, popped up that were from the Jedi, like, similar in that scene.
Oh, well,
we did have a small cameo of some others, which I'll give them credit. That was a nice nostalgia moment.
Yeah, that was fun.
It made me feel all nice and warm inside.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, ooh, Hayden Christensen. Like, ooh, Ahsoka. Ooh.
Samuel L. Jackson.
Yoda.
Yeah,
Ewan McGregor.
Qui-Gon Jinn.
Hearing Liam Neeson's voice was nice.
Yeah. Still my favorite Star Wars character. I don't care.
I do love me some Qui-Gon Jinn. Anyway, back to that stuff, though. What's with Leia's lightsaber? Like, I knew she was, like, supposed to train in the Force in the storyline.
She did. And in the, like, expanded universe, she did train to be a Jedi Knight, but then she became a politician because that was actually more important.
Hashtag boring life.
So she gave up being it's kind of similar to what happened in the movies, apparently. She just sort of gave up being a Jedi so she could be in, like, politics and stuff.
Yeah, but the way they made it sound like she just sensed, oh, I'm going to have a son one day and she's going to turn all of this into mush.
Yeah.
That's how they explained it to me.
Yeah, it definitely felt like, so didn't they imply that, like, her lightsaber was going to kill her son?
Or her son was going to kill someone with her lightsaber.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's what it was.
And then she's like, okay, so I'll just give it up.
Yeah. Yeah, that was dumb. Okay. Just be like, nah, Leia quit so that way, you know, she could try to run the New Republic. That would have been fine.
Yeah, and that's what happened in the expanded universe is they actually established a Jedi Order.
Yeah. Craziest thing.
Government.
Ew.
Oh, hey, I don't care what people say. Space politics is interesting. That was the best parts of the prequel.
I actually didn't hate it. I enjoy watching the Clone Wars animated series too, just because of
which
some of that.
Brings me back to kind of, I guess we've ranted enough about the various parts of the movie that we hated, I guess. Unless, are there some things that you really want to get off your chest?
There's a lot.
I mean, we could go for another hour probably.
I mean, we're almost at an hour at this point, but trying to think if there's any other things that really fried me. Is there something you want to go with in the meantime?
I mean, okay,
some thought.
There's C-3PO.
He was weird.
The whole he couldn't translate Sith thing was just so, like, MacGuffin-y. Like, you just...
It was plotline driven, I could tell. But,
like, it was so unnecessary. Like, that doesn't make sense. He was built by Darth Vader. At what point did he get the code put in him that doesn't let him translate Sith language?
That sounds like Padme fucking put that in there, is what it sounds
like.
But
how did she know? She was dead by the time she found out Anakin was a Sith. And it wasn't her. She didn't even have the droid, did she?
Well, technically it was like her servant droid. Sort of,
I don't know.
Because it was theirs.
Oh.
Because they were married.
Oh.
One of those deals. I don't know.
But yeah, that was a really kind of unnecessary plot line.
It was unneeded.
Yeah.
I do enjoy the two people that were introduced.
And it didn't even turn out being necessary.
No, because he's like, oh yeah.
Because they just found the knife again.
So you didn't even need it.
And the knife wasn't even like they actually needed the knife. They didn't need the message.
No, it was pointless. It was literally just to go to that planet and see the planet and meet the Zori girl, which I do enjoy the Zori girl.
Yeah, that was fun.
Cool. I'm okay with her.
That planet seemed like fun, but
I'd like to see I almost want them to make like a new Star Wars Clone Wars series.
That would be interesting.
But instead of it being Clone Wars, it's just like this modern trilogy to just fill in the gaps of these planets that we're not told about. Because there's some interesting stuff there. Yeah. It's just they don't say anything about it.
Every time there's something interesting on screen, it's actually just like tertiary characters.
Yeah. I did enjoy the little guy that was doing the C-3PO stuff, though. He was
that was the nice, cute creature of the movie.
Yeah, he was his C-3PO's first friend.
Oh, oldest friend.
Yes. I did not like Dio.
You didn't like him? I did enjoy the interaction where he gets turned on and Rey goes out to like touch him. He's like, no thanks. Just like, nope.
Yeah, that was the humorous part, but the rest of it was, he just kind of seems like a new kid's toy. That's all he seems like to me.
And that's another point. That's why lightsabers were still used in the final battle, is because we need to sell toys. So yeah.
Buy the toy.
I mean, Star Wars does kind of tend to be a toy vehicle or merchandise vehicle, really.
I mean,
more than it is about plot.
I mean, the combination of Marvel and Star Wars is what and the Cars franchise is what sells Disney product.
Yeah.
And occasionally there's some princess stuff, but it's mostly those three. Because, I mean, you look at all the Avengers crap, you look at all the Cars crap. In fact, I'm looking at an Avengers plush thing in this room right now.
I mean, I'm looking at like at least 20 or 30 Disney things in this room.
Well, let's see. I mean, yeah, there's a Buzz Lightyear there. There's a Yoda there.
Is Shaggy?
No, that's Warner Brothers.
Okay. Well, wait, they own that now.
Hanna-Barbera is owned by Warner Brothers, which is owned by
NBC. No, they bought Fox. You're right.
Yeah, Universal has them. So I'm still trying to represent.
Yeah, and then there's all your pop figures over there, which are at least 50% Disney products.
Well, if you count the WWE stuff that's on Fox, that's technically a WWE or a Disney property.
Does Disney own WWE?
Not yet.
Oh, good lord!
But they own.
I can't wait.
They own Fox, which WWE's on.
I can't wait for the next Royal Rumble, which is just Disney princesses.
Oh God. We will
Elsa from the top ropes.
Oh, here comes Mulan.
The falling icicle.
Oh Lord. Yeah, I think
Mulan brings honor to us all.
We will definitely have to do a podcast after the Royal Rumble in real life, though.
Oh yeah, that'd be a lot of fun.
We might even live stream that one.
Okay, so that could be it seems like we're trying to avoid Star Wars now.
Yeah, I do agree. So let's go ahead and take a quick break, and then we'll come back with our closing thoughts and wrap this all up in a nice bow.
All right.
Or po.
Oh gosh. And now a word from our sponsors.
Do you like metal music? Do you like new metal music?
Yeah!
Well, do we have the thing for you?
What?
It is New Metal Order.
New Metal Order?
What is it, you might ask? Well, it's literally just a Facebook page where we post new metal music videos each and every day. Go and like and enjoy.
Yeah! New Metal Order!
And we're back!
Phew. I'm so glad that we have those sponsors. Otherwise, we'd be destitute and out on the street.
Yeah, and we definitely have to leave our last podcasting location that we may or may not have done already because we can't afford it.
Anyway, yeah, so kind of our final thoughts on Star Wars. I guess overall, if I was to have to give it like a letter grade, I'd give it a D. That's technically passing, isn't it?
It is.
So
my thoughts are, I usually rank movies on a scale of 0 to 10. Or, as I like to call it, the scale of Killer Clowns from Outer Space to Thor Ragnarok. Because on my scale, that's what 0 and 10 are. Because I love Thor Ragnarok. I'm weird, I know.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you. It's a pretty good Marvel movie.
Yeah, it's clearly my favorite. And then Killer Clowns from Outer Space, which I consider the second worst movie ever made.
The Room is the other one?
No, that's the third in my opinion.
Oh, American History.
No, the worst movie ever made was from a franchise you mentioned earlier.
Oh, Transformers? Which one? Oh, Last Night, really?
The newest.
Oh, okay.
Or not the newest one.
Is that the one with King Arthur?
Yeah.
That's so good.
It was so dumb. It had no audience anyway. On that scale, 0 to 10, I would give it a 4.
A 4, okay.
Which is the lowest I've ever given for a Star Wars film, including the Clone Wars movie.
Oh, really? Okay. That was not the greatest.
No.
It definitely ranks at the bottom. I mean, I can't decide if I hate it more or less than... I guess I hate it more than Force Awakens because at least...
Force Awakens I gave a 5.
At least Force Awakens seemingly stayed within the parameters of...
You know, we should...
The Force powers.
We should actually start doing like a video series with where we rank film.
Oh, yeah. I'd be... Hey, look forward coming soon, maybe. We'll see. Put it in the docket.
But yeah, you were saying though?
Yeah, it would have been... If I wasn't so steeped in Star Wars, like if I wasn't so invested, I think I would be able to give the film like a 6 maybe.
If I literally came into the Star Wars films starting at Force Awakens.
Yes.
I bet I could have ranked it higher.
And I did not watch any of the other ones either.
Right. If they just never existed, I could have given it a better grade, possibly a 6, maybe even a 7.
Yes. Because, like, as a whole, like, setting all of the plot problems and lore stuff aside, it was a pretty well-shot film. Like, it was entertaining. It held my interest.
It did. It held me enough to keep me in the theater. I'll give them credit on that.
But yeah, no, accounting for all that stuff, though, I think I'd have to go with a 3, to be honest.
A 3? Wow.
It was pretty bad. I did not like it.
Yeah. No. The lowest previous was a tie between Force Awakens and Attack of the Clones at 5 for me.
Attack of the Clones?
Mm-hmm.
I thought you liked the Attack of the Clones.
No, I like Revenge of the Sith. That's the one I like. And I also like Phantom Menace. I'm weird. I know.
I mean...
It's not bad. It's just you gotta get by Jar Jar.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Well, and Watto. Watto's not great
I
either.
fucking love Watto. There's a pop figure of Watto right behind you.
Watto is an interesting caricature of slightly racist caricature, so...
One last thought on Rise of Skywalker. Why was Watto not in the last scene on Tatooine? I needed him to be there.
Why would you not put a recognizable character there?
Even if
I did not recognize that character, and I still...
Well, I think it was the last of the Lars family.
And why was Leia there? Because Leia has no... Okay, she buried Leia's lightsaber there like it meant something, but Leia has no connection to Tatooine at all. She's never been to Tatooine except for the time she got molested by a space slug.
Yeah, that's... ew. I forgot about that, yeah.
That's like the only time I think she's been to Tatooine.
It's true. She has no connection to it. Also, I realized this fact. I mentioned it to my lady partner the other day. Did you realize that if you follow just the canon, the only person that Luke Skywalker has kissed is his sister?
So true, though.
It's disturbing in a way.
Why did they kill off all of the expanded universe? There was so much material they could have used.
No.
Luke got married.
Didn't he have like a couple of kids?
Yeah, he only had one kid.
Was it Cade? Is that who it was?
No, that's like his great grandson or something.
Oh, okay.
No, he had Ben Skywalker, which would have, which essentially.
That would have been Rey, kind of. Right?
No, it would have been more like
combination.
Kylo and Rey.
Their love child.
Well, so the Solo family, there was 3 Solo kids.
Because there's Ben.
And so there was twins. There was Jaina and Jace.
Those are
Jason.
really weird names.
Jaina and Jason. And Anakin was their last one. Anakin died fairly young. And then Jason became essentially what Kylo Ren was. Like...
Oh, he was essentially Ben Solo.
A dark sider with somewhat good intentions.
I think I remember you telling me about this off screen.
And then like Ben Skywalker kind of follows Jason a little bit, so like they're a mix between. So Kylo Ren kind of represents those two characters. If you were to translate this to the expanded universe,
I mean, yeah.
There's so much.
There's just
and
a
they
lot.
keep picking and choosing like the worst parts of the expanded universe. Like
there's so much.
Palpatine coming back again in the expanded universe was universally a bad literary move.
Yeah,
like, it was not a good plot point. Why did they pick that?
No, honestly, what the third film in the franchise that it should have done is shown like Kylo getting in over his head doing the Supreme Leader stuff, realizing, oh shit, I'm not this guy. Why am I killing everything?
Yeah.
And like realizing he needs to go back to the light, maybe having a duel with Rey.
Yeah,
maybe.
And then the second film could have been him like rebelling against the Empire, but maybe still being dark.
Yeah, and then the third film just resolve all of it. Everyone goes, good besides the Empire people.
Yeah.
I will admit one more thing about Rise of Skywalker. I thought it was funny that General Hux was the spy.
Yeah, that was fun. I mean...
I also enjoyed that Poe was like, I knew it!
like, no you didn't! Although, I mean, it was pretty... They definitely...
It was getting obvious.
Yeah, it was getting obvious as it was coming up to it. It was like, oh yeah, it's clearly him.
Yeah, especially... They were all sitting at like a table or something, and Kylo's like, I sense uneasiness in you, General Hux. And he's like, yeah, you just murdered everyone.
And you're wearing a weird, creepy mask.
Like, yeah, you look like a lunch lady again.
What do you expect me to think?
Yeah. Alright, well. Anyway.
That's enough ranting.
That's about all we got for Rise of Skywalker. I will admit, if you want to see it, go for it. It'll entertain you for a couple hours.
Although, at this point, if you haven't seen it yet, just wait until it comes out.
Yeah, like
wait until it's in the $5 bin at Walmart.
It'll get there.
At this point.
Worry. What I told my parents is literally, don't go spend money at the theater for this. Just wait until it hits Netflix, because they still do the mail-in Netflix.
Oh, that still exists?
That's still a thing.
I did not know that existed.
Yeah.
What?
So I told them to just wait until it comes on that.
Wait, hold on.
What?
Your parents.
My parents. They still do the mail.
DVDs in the mail from Netflix.
Yeah.
And Netflix still offers that as a legitimate service.
That is still a legitimate service.
What?
Yeah, technically...
How much does it cost? A lot more than...
It's the same price.
Okay, but do they not have... Okay, is it...
They do the streaming and they do that.
Do they have to pay for those two things separately?
I don't know. I'm pretty certain it's just in one price, though.
So you mean we could... Like, if you have Netflix, you can get DVDs in the mail if you want to.
I'd have to look into it, but I'm sure you could.
This is mind-blowing for me.
Oh, God.
Thank you, Star Wars, for leading me to this path. Also, yes, definitely wait until it comes out and you can get Star Wars mailed to you. For sure.
Hey, maybe Blockbuster will be back by then.
Oh, good Lord. Well, on that note...
It is time to end.
May Godspeed, as General Holdo says...
We're all counting on you, as everyone else said.
Or may the Force be with you, as everyone else in Star Wars says, even though they don't believe in the Force. And everybody says that phrase.
Still be with you.
Yes.
Alright, well, we're going to head on out, so have a good one, guys. Like, subscribe, do all that stuff.
Yeah, hit the bell icon, and send us a Force message.
Yeah.
We can be a duologically thing, like Rey, Kylo, and Ren. We can connect on a midichlorian level.
Hold on, you just said Rey, Kylo, and Ren.
Are they not three different people? I don't know. The first time I saw the movie, I fell asleep for 20 minutes, so...
I'm ending this.